Hey, this is Jill Ciminillo with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and this week I am driving this big bad boy. This is the GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate 2500. So it's a heavy-duty model, and we're going to see how it fits into city life this week. That's one aspect of the video, and then I'm going to tell you some of the things I like and some of the things that I don't like. So let's start with the city stuff, and the first thing I'm going to try is parking it in that garage right there while somebody else is already in there. And I'm going to tell you right now, spoiler alert, haven't tried it yet, but I don't think it's going to fit. So let's take a closer look right now. All right, here we go. Let's see how this works. I know this is really long and these trash cans are going to be a problem. How does the top look? Okay. All right, time to fold in the mirrors. Totally dependent on the camera at this point. So I'm going to say that's a no. I'm actually pretty impressed that this fit as well as it did, because it wasn't too tall to fit into the garage. And I mean, frankly, my passenger could get out and I could get out, and I think that the car next to me would be able to get in and out. But come with me a second. I'm as far back as I can go. I mean, maybe I could go back like a couple more, like maybe 6 more inches. But the problem is going to be you can't open the door to get out or into the garage. So yeah, so first stop for city living, I'm going to say this is not going to fit in your garage. Just not going to fit. All right, so we got in to the garage space. Let's see if we can actually get out of it. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I don't like about this vehicle is the column shifter. It's really hard to find exactly the right gear without looking. All right, and I kept hitting the wrong gears. So we will open up the side mirrors and try and start the pivot without hitting my neighbor's car. Now, obviously, the trash cans create problems, but necessary in city living. All right, and I'm out. Okay, I will say the out was easier than the in. I'm surprised by that, but yeah, still not fitting in the garage. All right, I have found a parking spot that I think is just big enough to fit the truck. My husband and I disagree whether or not the truck can fit, and I think it's more down to whether or not my skill is great enough to make it fit, not so much whether it'll fit. But what I'm going to do is I'm having him film me inside, because I really want to look at these cameras, because these cameras are super important and super helpful in trying to navigate city spaces, and they do a really good job, much better than the mirrors, which, by the way, not really a fan of these towing mirrors. All right, I am in drive. I'm going to come forward, and I have a family and audience to the side watching me, so no pressure here. but I need to, this thing is just so large, it's really hard to gauge when I should start making my turn. But let's see. Okay. So I think I'm past the vehicle. I'm going to start my turn. I'm giving it a nice hard angle. I probably turned too late. I think I turned too late. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to try it again. I'm going to turn a little sooner this time. And I fully expect like applause from the family who's watching on the sidelines. All right. I'm going to start turning now. Woohoo! Look at that! Come on, this is impressive. My husband didn't think I would fit. Score one, Team Jill. Of course, it did take me a hot minute to like re-angle it because I'm not familiar with the proportions. But look at that, plenty of room, plenty of room. Let's get out and look at the spot and see what it looks like from the outside. All right, I didn't get any applause, but I do have to say I feel like I did a pretty good job here. And as I was saying, when we were inside the vehicle, the cameras are instrumental in trying to park this beast in the city. And again, I feel like I did a pretty good job here. Now, obviously, this is a really large space. If I had anything smaller than this, I don't think I could have done it. So in today's city's activities, I'm going to go to Orange Theory. I am meeting friends for breakfast. So some of the tasks that we are going to engage in involve dealing with narrow city streets, dealing with a small Chicago parking lot, and going through a drive-through at a bank. Yeah, there may even be some parallel parking. So let's see how this goes. I'll be honest, it's really hard to stay out of the bike lanes. And a lot of times when I've been driving on the city streets, I've activated the cameras to make sure I'm staying between the lines. And the really great thing about the cameras on the Sierra Denali is they stay on at any speed. Okay, that's not happening. Cameras come on to make sure I'm not going to hit anyone or anything. And I have to tell you, the bane of my existence in Chicago right now are these little pop-up plastic things that kind of delineate your driving space from the bike lane. When I'm turning corners, I can't see them. And I don't know if they're in my way or not when I am trying to round a corner or go into a parking lot. Those are really difficult to see with a vehicle of this size. Alright, let's see. What is the parking situation today? Okay, so there's a parking space right in front that I want, and you know what? I'm going to back into it, because that just seems like a good idea. And I don't have the angle right, so I'm totally going to have to... Everybody's like, what is she doing? I want this spot right here. And I really hate these towing mirrors because they don't give me a good view of the tight spaces. All right, there we go. Now I'm lined up where I want to be. And I hit the back bumper curb area to make sure that I'm in the spot properly. Yeah, so I mean, navigating the city streets is definitely a little bit difficult as I'm looking around the big side mirrors. They create some blind spots, and definitely it's hard for me to see over the hood. And like I said, those little plastic pop-up delineators for the bike lane are just unseeable. So putting on the cameras, just trying to pay attention before I get to an intersection, all of those things are necessary when you're driving this in the city and navigating the streets. I will say also the cameras, super helpful when trying to back into a spot. Next up, we'll go through the bank drive-through. I don't know if you saw my Ram TRX video, but I literally went to this same ATM, and it was funny. Obviously the space is really narrow, and I think that vehicle might be a little bit wider than this because I totally ended up on the curb to go through the ATM. So let's see. Okay, because I went through the one straight ahead. We're gonna have to do a little bit of a let's see how this goes. And you know what? Okay, cameras are on. Whee! Oh, this is gonna be really tight. If I don't take out this machine, oh, let's see. Oh, I really would. I've just gotta. I'm like, I have to take this out of the here a second, and I have to just show you like what's going on here. Yeah. All right. I may back up and like try and straighten out a little bit. Yee. And I'm taking out something. Yeah, I really feel like I need. Alright, so let's try this again. Because the thing is, you just have to get straight. I'm just going to say I'm thankful for breakaway mirrors. Alright. You know what? I'm even going to bring my side mirrors in. I totally would not have been able to do that if my side mirrors were out. I'm just going to point that out. And but I'm here at the machine, and yeah, I got to go down. Oh, that was fun. Now let's see if we can get out of here. Alright. The out is much easier than the in. Yeah. And I'm going to reopen my side mirrors. There we go. Mischief managed, though not easily. All right, it is now time for me to get into the good things and bad things on the GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate 2500. Can I start with the mouthful that is? That would be one of the bad things. But nope, we're actually going to start with the good things. And the first good thing on my list is going to be the fact that this is equipped with a 6.6 liter diesel engine, turbo V8, and it's got 470 horsepower, and it is really, really nice. Now, this is a big vehicle. If you didn't catch that from me standing in front of it, this is huge. And I really didn't feel like it struggled to accelerate getting on the highway, pulling out of a stop sign or anything like that. This does really well. It has clean, smooth, even power. And this specific vehicle has the available fifth wheel gooseneck. So you're going to need all of that power and then some if you're going to tow with this vehicle. So unladen, it does really well. Obviously didn't have the chance to tow with it because Chicago, but I'm going to assume that that horsepower and the torque that you get with this 6.6 liter diesel will play well there as well. Now let's flip the camera around and talk about some of the other good things. First up, let's talk about the overall styling of the Denali Ultimate. I really like this saddle brown leather, the really nice badging that you've got, the excellent stitching. All of the design features just work really well here, from the real wood to this really loose, it almost looks like saddle stitching on the accents for the door. And I don't know if you can see this over here, but there's also a topographical map of Denali, and more stitching here. You have a dual glove box, and I guess I have to be over there to open it, but you've got a dual glove box, and then you've got your normal glove box right here, and you've got large screens, both digital behind the wheel gauges, and then a really large screen here that has the it's Google powered, so Google Maps behind the wheel here. And I don't know, I just think everything works really well. And I will also point out that this has wireless Apple CarPlay, which it is connected right now, but I'm not going to go in there because there's too much lag when I try and film with my phone and then show Apple CarPlay. But just rest assured there's wireless Apple CarPlay. And I really like the menu icons over here on the side, especially the fact that you can switch between Apple CarPlay, your Google Maps, your audio, and then you can hit your home button and get any of your native functions in here as well. So I really like all of that. I think that they did a good job, and I'm especially appreciative of the fact that you can see the full map. You don't have that split screen that stays intact over there. So they've done a really good job with all of the digital things. You also have the cup holders in a really nice location. It's going to hold a multitude of cup holder sizes because of these little rubber bump outs here, and they're in a good location so that you're not going to bump them or spill by hitting them accidentally. And then you have storage spaces here, a little storage space here. And then, I'm going to spend some time talking about this because I often complain about wireless charging in vehicles, but I'm going to tell you, General Motors is one of the only automakers that gets it right. And I feel like they have a cool pad under here. I'm like, it's cold to the touch right now. So they have a cold pad on here that I can leave my phone in here charging indefinitely. And whenever I pull my phone out, it feels cold. Pretty much every other charger that I have tried, I pull out my phone and it's hot, or it shuts down, or it shuts down the entire system. And everybody's trying to tell me it's my case, it's my phone, it's my problem. And I'm here to tell you it is not my problem, because General Motors does it right. And until everybody else can do it as well as General Motors does, they are going to get a thumbs down from me on their wireless charging, and I'm going to continue complaining about it. So this I really, really like. General Motors has done an exceptional job, and they are the only ones who have managed to do this so far that I have found. So, all right, what else do I like? I like all of the storage space that you're going to get in here. Now, I was able to fit a small purse under here and put this tray back down and shut it, and you never knew my purse was in there, so I appreciate that. And then when you look in the back seat, you have a nice wide open space for 3 passengers. And I'm going to take a closer look at what's back here because there's a couple more good things back here. Coming into the back seat, the first thing I'm going to point out is that you have this flat load floor back here. So if you needed to store something just down here, you could totally do it, and I appreciate that. You also have this little secret cubby here hidden behind the seat back, so you can store devices, phones, things like that back here. But wait, there's more. You can also lift up the seat, and you've got some under seat storage as well. And then just to get it down, there aren't any levers or anything, but to get it down, you just kind of apply some pressure and it will go down. Now, we're going to round out the like list with a couple of things outside. And that first and foremost is going to be the exterior running boards. I picked my in-laws up from the airport. They're in their 80s and they were able to get up and down because of that running board. Then you have not one, but two bed steps. So if you need to get something out of the bed here, you can miss your foot. So if you need to get something out of the bed right here, you can lift your foot up and then hold your hand on there, and then you can see into the bed. And then what's really great about this bed step on the back is the fact that you actually have a little handhold up here that you can put your hand in while you are putting your foot on the bed to climb in. And I definitely appreciate all that. As a small person, I cannot see over the back of the bed. Now, this does also have the multi-function tailgate. So you do have a couple of different ways that you can configure this. And we've gone through the multi-function tailgate in several other videos, so I'm not going to belabor it here, but I'm just going to say that I appreciate the fact that they've put it on the biggest of their work trucks. So with that, we're going to come back inside and we're going to talk about the bad list. So the first thing on the bad list is going to be this right here, and that is the column shifter. And I know a lot of people really like and appreciate a column shifter because it, frees up capital on this area here. But so look at this. So first off, like, I'm in neutral, I'm meant to be in drive. So then I'm like, okay, now I'm in low, not drive. And I'm kind of like, ugh, I have to struggle a couple of times to get it into the gear that I want it in. And I suppose if I own the vehicle, I would get used to how this operates. But for me right now, this is just every single time I end up in the wrong gear and I had to retry to put it in the right gear. That's not even the bigger problem with the gear shift. This right here is the bigger problem with the gear shift. So I'm in drive right now, and like, if I need to reach the volume knob, like, this is kind of in my way to get to that, not to mention the fact that it covers the bottom half of the screen here. And yeah, there's a button right there that I need if I'm going to try and access any of the menu items. So this it doesn't work for me. It's too big. The gear operation itself is, again, an owner would get used to it. I'm not used to it. I didn't like having to search for the gears. And this just, like, every time I'm like, oh, so that to me is very annoying. I don't like how big this column shifter is. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know what you do with it. Again, maybe an owner would get used to it, but this is just very annoying to me. I just want to break off the end of it. Now, the second thing on the bad list is going to be the price tag. This is a $96,000 truck. $96,000 truck. And it is incredibly opulent, from the stitching on the dash to the really well padded and comfortable seats to the stitching on the seats to, again, that Denali topographical map to there's even some graphic animations when you start up the vehicle that look really cool. This is a lot for a heavy duty truck, and I mean, it's a lot of money and a lot of just detail, really nice detail for a truck that is supposed to be doing work, whether it's towing or hauling or whatever. Like, I wouldn't want to work in this truck. It's $96,000. I wouldn't want to break it. And so I'm actually, comment below, would you work in this truck? Would you haul or tow? And would you pay $96,000? To me, this is just, like, I don't understand who is going to buy this vehicle. So if you have thoughts on that, let me know, because it certainly doesn't fit into the city lifestyle. And it's not going to do, like, I wouldn't want to tear the leather or do anything bad to hurt this vehicle by actually making it work. So I'm very curious. Would you spend $96,000 in this truck, and then would you use it to do truck things? To me, I wouldn't, and that is bad. Now, I'll be honest with you, other than the sheer size of this vehicle, I really don't have that much else to say bad about this truck. But if I had to pick one final thing, it's going to be these tow mirrors. While they are really, really good if you are hauling a load, and I will point out that you can actually press this button and extend them out. So they're really, really good if you are hauling a load. They are not that great for city spaces. So in addition to this being really big, and you can see like there's a crosswalk up here, but I'm parked in a spot, but you could see if I was going up to that crosswalk, this would completely cover not only whether there was somebody in the crosswalk, but a car coming up into the intersection. So I found that while I was driving the city, I had to pre-scout the intersection. Was anybody coming up to it? And then I did a lot of that, looking around it to make sure that, you know, if there was somebody there, that they went, or that I went, but that I wasn't going to hit anybody if I was turning, or if anybody was coming straight at me through the intersection. So the other problem that I found with these is, this right here just doesn't show the bottom space that you want it to show when you are backing into something, or when you are even driving on the street and you want to make sure that you're not in the bike lane, or that you have space for oncoming traffic. Like this, again, really good if you need to look behind you for towing, but it isn't as good for tight city spaces. Like I couldn't get a handle on which mirror I was supposed to be looking at, because this one wasn't big enough. And then this one is, as you can see, it kind of expands everything. And so I just, I didn't like those, but I see the necessity if you're in a rural area, if you're towing, but for city spaces, they did not work for me. Not to mention the fact that I very often had to fold them in anyway, because I couldn't fit in spaces with them folded out. All right, that is what I have for you today on the GMC Sierra 2500 Denali Ultimate. Whew, that is a mouthful to get out. Aside from the fact that I feel almost Lilliputian sitting in the driver's seat and getting out of the vehicle, I have to imagine I caused a lot of people to laugh this week as they saw me getting in and out of the vehicle. But aside from that, I really like this truck. I think it's comfortable. I like the seats. I like the stitching. I like the seat comfort. I like how it drives. I like the acceleration. I like the features on this truck. But the price tag and the fact that I wouldn't want to get this dirty makes me wonder what the market for this vehicle is. So as I've asked you before, I'm going to ask you again. Comment below. $96,000, would you spend it? And then would you use this truck for truck things? I don't know. All right, so that is what I want to say about this truck. Be sure to check us out on the web at pickuptrucktalk.com, and I will see you down the road.